Oh my God, two people.
Where are the keys?
Oh my God. My heart's racing. This is like...
Did you video all
Yes, I've recorded it all. Yeah, I'm gonna put it on.
What the
you doing, you broken this, you get out of my sight. Have you nicked? Have you nicked anything?
Imagine returning home from holiday only to discover you've unknowingly smuggled a migrant, and now you're being punished with a £1,500 fine. This ordinary British family faced exactly that nightmare when they found a Sudanese teenager hiding in their bike rack. Meanwhile, the real criminals, people smugglers charging up to £6,000 per migrant, continue operating with virtual impunity. How is this justice in Starmer's Britain? Stay with me as we expose the shocking double standards, leaving innocent families to pay the price for government failures.
But it has 3 ferries a day to England, and that's why these young men are here. This isn't a one-off. This isn't Calais, where tensions with migrants are well established. Ouistreham is a sleepy fishing port 4 hours to the west, every day and every night on every truck that passes through. They're mostly from Sudan, and almost all look like teenagers.
Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favour. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. Imagine this. You've just returned from a family holiday in France, your 7-year-old son is tired in the back seat, and suddenly border force officers surround your vehicle. They found migrants hiding under your bike rack, people you never knew were there. This nightmare scenario became reality for one Essex family, who did everything by the book on their French holiday, only to find themselves caught in a Kafka-esque bureaucratic trap. A 16-year-old Sudanese migrant had secretly hitched a ride beneath their bike rack, turning their vacation memories into a traumatic ordeal that would haunt them for months. What happened next exposes the truly disturbing priorities of our border control system. Border force officers initially assured this family they wouldn't face penalties, clearly recognising they had no knowledge of their unwitting passenger. Yet 1 month later, a £3,000 fine arrived by email, a financial gut punch for a family who had done absolutely nothing wrong. Meanwhile, the migrant himself, processed and released, free to attempt another crossing. The system punishes innocent British families while treating actual border breaches as mere inconveniences.
A little further on, the driver stops. He's clearly aware of what's just happened. So you can see he's just closing the door there, but there are some of the guys who were trying to get on the truck already. Edge of town, they sleep in the ditches. The police remove any tents they try to pitch. Every morning, they wait for the trucks to arrive. We follow one Bulgarian lorry. The first group manages to open the door, but none of them climb on.
The emotional toll extends far beyond financial hardship. Family's 7-year-old son now lives with anxiety, expressing fears that the migrants might come to their home. A child traumatised not by migrants themselves, but by the government's handling of the situation. How many more children will be collateral damage in this broken system? The appeals process itself reveals another layer of injustice. If the family challenges the fine and loses, they're not just responsible for the original penalty, they must also cover border forces costs. This catch-22 effectively discourages appeals, regardless of how legitimate they might be. The system isn't designed for justice, it's designed for compliance. As the Essex family shared their story, they discovered they weren't alone. Countless other British holidaymakers have faced similar penalties, suggesting not isolated incidents, but a systematic approach to immigration enforcement that targets law-abiding citizens rather than addressing root causes. The family aptly compared their experience to being burgled, then being fined for the burglary, while the actual criminals walk free. One panellist cut to the heart of the matter. That's thousands and thousands of pounds in fines, a lot of money for a decent family. The courts are already overburdened, and if there are more of them, how much is that costing us just to get the fines? While innocent families are being slapped with outrageous fines, the border crisis that Keir Starmer vowed to control has spiralled completely out of hand. Remember those grand promises during his campaign? Starmer didn't just criticise the previous government's approach to channel crossings. He made bold, unequivocal pledges to regain control of our borders. He stood before the British public with absolute confidence, assuring voters that his administration would stem the tide of illegal immigration. But what's happened since those empty words were spoken? The cold, hard numbers tell a devastating story. In 2024 alone, over 36,000 migrants crossed the English Channel in small boats, marking a staggering 25% increase compared to the previous year. Let that sink in. A quarter more crossings under the very government that promised to reduce them, and the situation continues to deteriorate. Already in early 2025, more than 4,000 migrants have made the journey across the Channel, setting us on course for another record-breaking year of arrivals. Meanwhile, the real beneficiaries of this crisis aren't being touched. Criminal smuggling networks are charging desperate people between £3,000 and £6,000 per crossing, building a multi-million-pound enterprise with virtually no consequences. These traffickers operate with impunity, while ordinary British families face crippling financial penalties for situations entirely beyond their control. Perhaps most infuriating is the blatant double standard at play. Border Force vessels routinely transport migrants who've made channel crossings, performing essentially the same action that would result in severe penalties for private citizens. Where's the logic? Why does the government punish holidaymakers while its own vessels engage in comparable activities without consequence? This inconsistency reveals something troubling about Starmer's approach to governance. It's far easier to target law-abiding families than to confront the sophisticated criminal networks driving this humanitarian disaster. The government appears more concerned with maintaining the appearance of enforcement than addressing the actual problem. The gap between Starmer's confident promises and the grim reality has created widespread public frustration. Each new crossing statistic further erodes confidence in his leadership on this issue. What we're witnessing isn't just policy failure, it's a fundamental betrayal of public trust, prioritizing easy targets over effective solutions. What we're seeing isn't just a policy failure, it's a fundamental betrayal of British citizens. The Home Office claims they're fully committed to stopping people from illegally entering the country and cracking down on people smugglers, yet their actions tell a different story. Instead of targeting criminal networks, they've created a system that punishes innocent families while letting the real perpetrators walk free. Public trust is eroding rapidly as Starmer's government fails to deliver on its immigration promises. The clandestine entrance civil penalty scheme, supposedly designed to deter irregular migration, has become a weapon against law-abiding citizens rather than criminals. This approach exposes the government's true priorities, appearing tough on paper while avoiding the difficult work of addressing root causes. The question every British citizen should be asking: why is this government so eager to fine holidaymakers, but so reluctant to hold smugglers accountable? Until Starmer shifts focus from punishing the innocent to prosecuting the guilty, this human tragedy will continue, and with it the public's growing disillusionment with a system that has abandoned them.